Welcome back to the Booktroverts podcast. I'm McKayla.
I'm Meg.
And in today's episode, we are continuing our deep dives of the Crowns of Nyaxia series by Carissa Broadbent. So today we're talking about book 2, which is The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. Like always, these will contain spoilers of the entire book. So if you have not read it, pause and come back. We also did a deep dive of book 1 in our last episode, so you can check that one out. So it will cover everything, book 1 and book 2. Before we jump into giving our ratings, we're going to do this episode a little bit differently. Instead of going like really detailed on all the chapters, we're going to talk more high level. So Meg is going to give us a quick description of the book. So yep. Meg, the floor is yours.
Alrighty. So, in the wake of the Kajari, everything Araya once thought to be true has been destroyed. A prisoner in her own kingdom, grieving the only family she ever had, and reeling from a gutting betrayal. She no longer even knows the truth of her own blood. She's left only with one certainty. She cannot trust anyone, least of all Rain. The House of Night, too, is surrounded by enemies. Rain's own nobles are none too eager to accept a turned king, especially one who was once a slave. And the House of Blood digs their claws into the kingdom, threatening to tear it apart from the inside. When Rain offers Araya a secret alliance, taking the deal is her only chance at reclaiming her kingdom and gaining her vengeance against the lover who betrayed her. But to do so, she'll need to harness a devastating ancient power intertwined with her father's greatest secrets. But with enemies closing in on all sides, nothing is as it seems. As she unravels her past and faces her future, Araya finds herself forced to choose between the bloody reality of seizing power and the devastating love that could be her downfall.
What is your rating of the book?
All right, so typical me going in decimal fashion, I did a 2.75 for this one. At first, I thought I was enjoying the book. Then it became a struggle. I did not like most of the middle of the book. A lot of it had to do with Araya, and I can go into that once we start getting into the details. But the end actually wasn't bad. I liked it a lot. There just was too much in the middle for me. It could have been at least 100 to 200 pages less. So that's kind of why I rated it that low. So a little bit of a bummer with how good the first one was.
What did you give book 1?
I think I gave it a 4.
Oh, so a big drop.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately. It happens, I guess.
It happens with the sequel.
Yeah, exactly. What about you?
I gave it a 3.
Okay.
Now, please take my rating with a grain of salt. This is a very fake rating because I read the book. I got to about 50%. The beginning was really dragging for me. Was not loving it. Was not loving Araya as well, so we could definitely get into that. Then, like the middle chunk, it started to get a little bit more fast-paced for me. And then I kind of hit a wall where I was like, I don't want to read a fantasy book anymore.
Yeah.
And this is just like my new thing for this year. I'm like really become a mood reader. Like I used to never DNF stuff or like stop books halfway through. I've been doing it more and more recently. And I was just like, I can't keep reading this book because it will be a 1-star because I'm just not in the mood for it. Proceeded to put the book down literally at 50%. Exactly. Read 4 dark romance books and then was like, shit, I need to finish that book so I can talk about it on the podcast because we've already committed to doing this. And then put it off to the last second and then proceeded to like speed read / skim the last 50%. So I'm giving it a 3 just because I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I'm very middle of the road. And I also don't feel like I read it closely enough to be able to like critically judge it. So I'm going 3, but like take it. It's a kind of a fake rating.
Yeah, I will say, I think we need to get better at this, that if we're not liking it, we probably should just DNF it and just text the other and say, this isn't really that good. We need to get, just whatever, skip to the end, find out the ending, and then just call it a day. But I felt like I was obligated to read it because we were going to do it for the podcast. And I said, I probably should have something to talk about. And maybe part of the conversation actually should have been why we DNF'd it and stuff. I don't know.
I was like, I don't want to get on and be like, so we actually didn't finish it.
Right.
So we can't really talk about it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even that I wasn't enjoying it because I pushed through the part I wasn't enjoying. And then the part where I stopped, I was actually in it. It was getting more interesting to me. It's just, I don't know. I opened my Kindle and honestly, I was just thinking about the next book I wanted to read after it. It's like, I'm not even paying attention. And I was like, oh, that's not doing it justice. Let me put it down. I'll read it. Read that book. And then I was like, okay, this is way more piquing my interest way more. I still don't really want to go back. So I don't even think it was the book. I think it was just like I've read so many fantasy books this year that I just kind of hit a wall with them where I was like, ugh, I cannot read any more world building or like words I don't know how to pronounce. So I don't know. I don't think it's the book. I think it probably would have happened with any fantasy book I was reading at that time. I just, how things worked out. But yeah, I agree. We do need to get a little bit. We could definitely have just said, this is why we DNF'd it.
I know. I was struggling hard and I said, no, I have to keep pushing through. And then it was like right as soon as I finished it, you were saying, I got to take a break. And I go, I wish I had literally put off reading for a day or two and we would have been at the same, spot and everything. But
so what I'm hearing is really it's your fault.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll take the blame.
Well, that was behind you. So if you had texted me first, said, hey, I'm not feeling it, then maybe I would have been like, hey, because then I felt bad because I knew you had finished it. And I was like, yeah, I'm literally 50% and I'm stopping it.
Oh my gosh. No, it literally,
and TBD when we can record. You read this book like 3 weeks ago.
I know. It was terrible. That's why, as bad as it sounds, we normally do the deep dives. I go, I can't even do a deep dive on this because I don't even care enough because I just didn't enjoy it as much.
Yeah, and it's also left your brain because, like, I took forever to finish it. But I guess that's what it was. Like, I just didn't like the plot.
Yeah. To
be honest. Like, I didn't like the direction it was going in. And it was nice to see the characters again. But as you alluded to, like, Araya was insufferable.
Yeah.
She's like, this is not even fun. And she's our main character. Like, we have to see her constantly.
Yeah, I'm with you because it just Rain I had no problem with. Plain and simple. Yeah, it just, I had no issue with him. I could have kept reading his chapters. I just could not stand the dramatic Disney princess energy that she had of let me go fling myself onto this bed and cry obnoxiously. I get it. I don't know how to put myself in your shoes in the terms of your father was killed by your boyfriend and then your boyfriend's kind of literally just dragging you through the mud and claiming that you're pretty much just going to be his wife and he's, I don't want to say torture you, but not make your life not going to be happy at all. I can't imagine that. But it just took way too long for her to turn and realize that, okay, maybe this wasn't as bad as I expected and that there is some good in the reason why he was doing it. So it's just, oh my God, it took way too long. Way too long.
I completely agree. I felt like, okay, we all know that this is a romantasy. We know they're going to end up together. Mm-hmm. Why am I reading 60% of a sequel to get them together? That was driving me crazy. I understood if maybe like the first couple chapters she wanted to be upset about what happened because I think that's completely fair to give her that time. But then it hit a point where I was like, this has now become ridiculous because one, he told you his backstory. You know what he went through. You know the type of person he was. Like, you guys made a connection. You clearly fell in love with each other to the point where like you wasted your wish to bring him back. And then you think like he really was that manipulative to go behind your back into this whole thing. And then even when she's in the castle, like if he wanted to be a dick, he could have forced her to share a bedroom with him.
Yeah.
He could have been forcing her to do stuff that she didn't want to be doing. She got to have her own room. He put like 10 million locks on it. And she thought like, oh, he's trying to keep me locked in. No, he's trying to keep you safe because other people are going to try and kill you. So like he was doing everything to protect her. Gives her a bodyguard. And she's all like, oh, I'm getting a bodyguard. It ends up being Misha. He obviously had to put up a little bit of a front because of the situation they were in. And it pissed me off. They're like, you're a smart person. You were a human who took down all those vampires in the Kajari. And you can't figure out that this is called acting. And then he's saying one thing, but all of his actions are proving to be different.
Yeah. And everything he did during the book was something for her. I mean, keeping her safe, obviously, but even down to finding stuff about her family. He literally went into Vincent's study and everywhere and purposely tried to find it for her, had an out for her at points of just, okay, if you want to leave, you can. Don't ever come back. Go to the human realm. You don't have to be here. It was just, there was so much he did. And I don't know, to your point too, like she knew so much of his story. And also, I just have to say this. You knew he did not like your father from the beginning. I mean, that was his huge thing was I don't like how bad your father is against the Rashawn. Plain and simple, he literally murdered all of them without even a question. And she realizes that when he literally burnt down her hometown and completely killed everyone, of course he doesn't care about anything. He just wants to be king. So then Rain literally does what he was going to do anyways when he told you pretty much at the beginning he was in this for, the end. Of course he's going to go and kill because the only way that this group gets the crown is through a trail of blood. I don't know what she expected of him. I mean, it would have been interesting if she kept him alive, if they kept him alive and had a different story for book 2, but come on. It was pretty obvious.
Yeah. Did she seriously think that when she asked for him to come for him to win, she didn't realize she was going to be allowed to be, she was going to be kept alive, but did she really think that they were going to run off into the sunset and her dad was just going to be okay with it? Like, at some point, the two were going to come head to head because they were opposites. They were enemy groups.
Yeah.
I mean, the dad knew that she was partnered up with him. They were like beginning to have a friendship, and he still took him in for that intense questioning.
Yeah.
He got basically tortured. They were going to come head to head at some point, and I don't think she's even recognizing it. Also, it just like annoyed me where, yeah, he was doing all that nice stuff. Even took her to that apartment that he kept in the human district and flat out told her, I have to act this way because the bloodborns are going to sense it. So I'm just acting, but that's not really how I feel. Like that was early on too. He brought her to a private place, told her what was going on, and was like, you just have to play a part. Still doesn't believe him. They literally are like having sex, and in her inner monologue is just going, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. And I'm like, are you serious? Then don't sleep with this man if you hate him so much. And it was not, at least in my opinion, how I felt. It was not until she saw all those visions of Vincent, and that was 80% in the book, that finally, and then she sees that Rain is about to die, that it like finally hits her like, oh, I actually do care about him.
Yeah,
because
agreed.
she saw that her dad was actually a dick. Like, her dad was going to kill her.
Yeah. That's my thing too, is it just was so much. There wasn't any thoughts in along the way. I mean, she had moments at times where she goes, oh, maybe I like him here and there, but it wasn't to an extent that would have been a slow growth. It was just truly absolutely nothing. And then, like you said, 80% through is when she actually realized she liked him. I mean, even when she saved him from being up on the building and, being pretty much burnt alive and stuff, like it was more of just like an instinct, but then she shut anything down and just completely moved forward. I go, okay, so we're not going to address this at all. We're just going to ignore the fact that you went and saved this guy because you obviously still love him, but you're just pissed at him for everything that went on. I mean, you're just torturing yourself at that point. I don't know what you expect.
There was no self-reflection on her part. And also, I was annoyed in the sense of like, she was putting all the blame on him. Yes, he was the one who, ultimately delivered the killing blow, but what did your dad do to put himself in that position to be on the receiving end, to have someone hate you so much that they want to kill you?
Yeah.
What about all the bad stuff that your dad did? And I feel like she even forgot that Vincent killed her biological family.
Yeah, I feel like she puts that aside because she wants to be so upset with Rain. I think she purposely was trying to be upset with him constantly and didn't see Vincent for who he was. I mean, you can still love him, he's your father, but look at all the facts, woman. There's a lot there.
And Rain killed one person of your family. Vincent, we later find out, killed, what, four or five? And then worst part is when she sees the vision, she realizes, oh, he even isolated me like from my memories, where she knew like of her mother, but she forgot about her siblings. She forgot about the dad, the guy that her mom had remarried. He did so much worse to you, and you're sitting here having a chip on your shoulder, like holding a torch for this guy that did not really treat you well. Like, yeah, he loved you, he protected you, but he also destroyed your life before you even knew it. And even at the same point of like when Rain kills him, she then finds out she's basically half vampire. Like, that's a massive thing to have been kept from you. I'd be more annoyed about, like, you don't even know who I am as a person, rather than, like, you just killed my father.
Yeah, agreed.
Disney Princess was a really great way to describe that. It was very woe is me. And, like, only feeling love when you're being rescued. And, yeah.
You know, I'm gonna sound like a hot take here, but I'll go with it. We've read a lot of duologies where the main female character is a badass or very intelligent in the first book. And then the second one, they just completely changed their vibe. And this felt like a repeat of that. And I was really frustrated at it because I didn't know where the second one was going based on how it ended. I didn't love how the second one ended. I thought it was going to be different. So I wanted to be delightfully surprised, but I wasn't, because I just didn't like the way it went. It's not my favorite when duologies like start off really well and then just don't step up to the plate for the second one.
Yeah, I feel like it is pretty common too. And honestly, I don't really think this needed to be a duology.
No.
I don't think this needs to be 6 books. I really have no clue like how this is going to stretch over 6 books. I feel like the second book could have happened. We could have sped everything up. Going back to your original comment, like definitely 100 pages could have been slashed from this. And because the third book is going to be Misha's story, which we can get into. Like, I have no freaking clue. That was not even set up well at all. You could have woven that into this and had 2 storylines going at the same time to like merge. I don't think this needed to be 2 books at all. But do you want to get into what you had just mentioned? I think you said like things that could have been done differently.
Yeah, so something, I'll step away from Araya a little bit, was I would have liked more if with that anger and frustration she had towards Rain is having more of the 2 groups going against each other. So she had Jasmine do the one attack to try and take down their forces, and that was it. It was just okay, regroup and I will get in touch with you at some point. I would have loved if there were 5 other instances of this where it was back and forth, and that's where they started to rebuild of, okay, why are we fighting with each other? We really don't even hate each other. We want the other people out because they're the actual bad guys in the situation. I think it would have done more for me with her anger, and I would have been okay with her hating him for 80% of the book. But because it was just so flat in terms of what she did, it just didn't make sense. So I would have loved more back and forth just to help.
I completely agree. It was literally just that one attack at the armory, and then it felt like they gave up.
Yes.
And at least if there would have been more back and forth between the 2 of them, it would have given like enemies to lovers vibes, which would have kept you like, ooh, when are they gonna like convert? But it was, she tried once, epically failed, and then just went back to being a crybaby.
Yeah. Agreed.
That would have been a good premise to the beginning. But then yeah, one time and then it just dropped.
I mean, undermine them on things. They're going to talk to House of Blood. Fuck something up with the plan. You know what I mean? There could have been so many ways. She was in the castle with him. Mess some stuff up. He has you pretty much giving some freedom. It's not like you're really a prisoner in your place.
She didn't sabotage anything in there. No. I would really going and like ripping up plants that they had drawn up or something, or removing the maps or something. Yeah, she did nothing. And I don't know. Going off that too, I wish there was more fallout from the Kajari in book 2. So obviously, like, we're picking up the pieces of now they're both like, he's the king, she has an air mark, and like they're having to put on this show. But there was a lot of contestants that were in that Kajari, and they have families.
Yeah.
I wish some of the family members came and caused drama with them. Like, yeah, you won, but now you have to pay for the consequences of you murdered these people's loved ones in the competition. It just felt like all those families were like, okay.
Yeah. On to the next.
Yeah. I was like, that would have been a cool angle too. Obviously, there is a little bit like their deal with Septimus that has to come into play, but it just would have been cool if like Ibrahim's family came and was like trying to get rid of her because like as payback or something. Like, I don't know, like I felt like they were in danger. I say that in air quotes, but you didn't really feel like they were in danger.
No. We said this about the first
nothing
one.
really happened to them except for when he got drugged and then hung up. That was the only time where they were actually in any type of danger. But I mean, it felt like he had been the king for a while at that point.
Yeah, and the only other one for her was when Vincent's cousin basically found her and went to pretty much kill her. But even that, it was just, there was one for each, and that was it.
That was it.
Yeah.
I don't know, it goes back to our thoughts we had on book 1, where it just didn't feel intense enough.
Yeah, agreed. It was a little calm for what I would have expected, especially when we're told so much that the vampires are ruthless. They don't really care. They're super vicious. I should feel a little bit afraid when reading this book. I kind of want to be a little scared to change, to move to the next page. It's like a murder mystery that's so freaking good that you don't want to leave your house that night because you're just, okay, I'm going to be the next one who gets, attacked tonight. It's something like that. Give me a little bit more. I mean, not too much, but a little bit would be good.
No, completely agree. I was missing something. What else did you have for like things you wanted to change?
The only other thing was you said this with the first book, was the spice scenes weren't needed again. I just think this series doesn't need them, in my opinion. I think it could be off page. They at least were well placed in this one in sense of their rekindling, but at the same time, like you said, the first time, she literally still is hating him, so it just kind of, what is this, a last hurrah before you might die? Yeah. It wasn't, I don't know. I just didn't like them.
Yeah, they were the chapters that I did have to skip through because I had to speed read to get this done in time to record. And so I was like, you know what? These are the ones I'm going to skip because I don't really think it's going to add too much to... No. I would like read the quotes between the two of them, but I don't really feel like what I saw really added to the story. It did not really feel like it progressed their relationship because she was still saying I hate you in her inner monologue, so I don't think it was like changing her feelings about him.
No, it definitely didn't.
The only other piece I had for things that actually 2 pieces that I wish were changed is, one, I still feel like we don't have a very complete picture of Vincent. We got more puzzle pieces of him and what he did to her and stuff like that, but I still wish we had gotten visions or something about his feelings as she was growing up in the castle, or like what his future plans for the two of them were, because like they were going to be the Cortebon, or however the hell you say that, and she was really only thinking about it so she could go into the Rishon thing and see if her family was there. But like, what was his goal of that? Like, was it just strictly so she wouldn't take the power? Was he ever going to tell her that he was a half vampire? I just have more questions about what was going on with him that I don't feel like we got answered. And then, as I alluded to in the beginning, knowing that book 3 is about Misha, I really do not think this book did her justice at all. I got to the end, and to be honest, I will not be picking up book 3 because I'm just genuinely not interested. I would like to know what this big revenge basically that Nyaxia is going to come back with, but I'm not reading 4 more books to get to it because I know what's going to happen in the last one. And I genuinely do not care to go on a world journey with Misha because I have no clue. Like, I don't think they set it up well at all of like what are we going on a journey with her for? Or is it going to be a flashback book where we're learning about her turning from that prince?
Well, and that's the other thing too. So at first I thought, oh, is it going to be somehow that the guy who turned her ends up being her love interest down the line? Well, that completely went out the window as soon as she freaking stabbed him like crazy.
I had the exact same thought. I thought that was what their book was going to be about. Like,
reconnecting. Right, because then the flashbacks would have made sense of her struggle at that time, and then seeing him now, when something else bring them together. Plus, he was from House of Shadow, so would have made sense bringing in the second house involved, and House of Blood being the last house, because let's be real, it's probably going to be the last out of the 3. I don't know, just, and they also too, whenever you have a character becoming the main character in the next book, you see way more from them and hear a lot more from them. She was in this one, yes. However, I didn't think there was enough there that made me interested in her. Like, the only time that we got something was at the end when she just wanted to do that reflection. And like you said, world tour by herself. She just needed to get out because after encountering the person who turned her, I think it brought her back, and she's still dealing with all that stuff with the god not having that power and everything, and she has all the burdens over herself. But I just feel like they could have added a little bit more that gave us that interest in her, because I don't know who she's gonna have a love story with. Like, there wasn't another person that they introduced.
Yeah. And also, what is going to be the conflict in her book?
I don't know.
I'm very confused. If she's going to be off exploring all the worlds, so she's not going to be here in the area where, like, we're waiting for Nyaxia to come and, like, do this revenge thing. So
Right.
for 2 books, we're just going to be removed from all that's going on with these characters. While she's just, like, I'm thinking, like, she's on, like, that, like, Royal Caribbean World Cruise. Like, she's just on a boat bouncing around. That's what I'm picturing. And, like, we're just going to, like, street markets.
Yeah, I mean, because I was even trying to figure it out. If her story is based on House of Shadow or House of Blood, whichever one they choose for her to go and find someone there, are we just going to learn about their area? But what's their big thing that's going to last 2 books? I would be fine if it was a 1-book thing. Do you know what I mean? Okay, she has to deal with some little obstacle. Perfect example, Cassie and Nesta's story. It was a 1 book. Yeah, it was weird because after the whole battle, you thought it was kind of done for the series, but then they end up having something they have to go through. I liked it. 1 book, done. That situation was over. Didn't need to go 2 books. This, I don't think, needs to be another duology or multiple duologies.
No, it did not grab my attention enough. Honestly, I think they should have had an epilogue.
Yeah.
That was Misha's POV. Because, like, we also have never seen her POV. So
True.
we just know what she says to the characters. We don't know anything that goes on in her mind.
Yeah.
And it should have been a little thought process of, like, what I'm going to go do on this. Give me a little something of what she's struggling with. So that maybe I'm like, ooh, I would like to read more about that. But where they left it, I'm not interested. Also, pissed me off. She's going to be your next main character. All of her conversations are with Rain, and she will not tell him what's going on. And
I know.
She just keeps alluding to the fact that, like, she's filled in Araya, and he's like, do I need to ask my wife, like, what's going on in your brain? And she doesn't answer him. So we know you're having conversations. You've talked to one of our characters about what you're doing. It's all off page, though, and, like, we know nothing.
Yeah. This is where it should have been on page more. Mm-hmm. And then a lot of the stuff that was on page should have been off page. It should have been... really should have been flip-flopped, is really get me interested in her story, but also conclude the story that you have currently going, and then I'm good. But yeah, just wasn't thrilled. And I'm bummed because at first I was really liking it. I go, oh, this will be so nice because it does seem like it's going to be a lot bigger of a story, and it just kind of went flat.
I know. It's so unfortunate, though, when that happens. And then, honestly, it's really disheartening, too, when all I've seen are people who absolutely loved book 1 and book 2 saying that book 3 is not good. So it's like, if I already was on book 2, and then you're telling me book 3 is significantly worse, no. And now I understand, because it wasn't set up.
Yeah, I don't think it gave people enough information to want to continue.
No. And did you feel like the end, so, like, we're building the whole book to this big confrontation, the battle scene, did you feel like that was extremely quick for a book that's 600 and something pages?
Yeah, because the first battle they have when they actually infiltrate the castle and everything, I thought...
No, it felt like they were there for 5 minutes.
Yeah. It was this huge thing.
And they very quickly had to retreat.
And then they had to retreat. That's fine if it's a smaller battle, whatever. But to your point, it wasn't as if the last one was an extravagant thing where you had a variety of POVs. Perfect example would have been having, like, Misha's POV at this point to even get some of her side of what was going on through her mind. Not that I need to introduce everyone's POV, but it wasn't where you got the variety of battle. It literally was just Araya inside with trying to figure out Vincent's secrets and getting more down into the god,
Yeah,
the
she
god
wasn't even at
blood.
the battle.
Right. And then you get Rain's stuff of the battle, which I thought was really good, but to your point, it was so quick.
They could have added a POV of Vale only because the 1.5 novella
True.
is Vale and Lilith, so we've already been inside of his head. We've already seen his POV, and he was like the head kind of war person.
Okay.
The strategy.
Where the hell is Lilith in all of this?
Oh yeah, she was like in a dungeon at some point.
Yo, is she just chilling at home? Like, all right, Vale, hope you don't die. Or are you on the battlefield? Was she on the battlefield too?
I have literally no clue. I don't understand why that novella even exists of the two of them. I mean, it was quick. It was like an hour-long read. It's not that long. But I don't understand because, yeah, they were more prominent characters in the second book, but, like, they weren't big. Lilith was barely in the book.
Yeah, and I thought she was going to be the primary person. And from how
she's so smart. I thought she'd be helping with something.
Yeah.
And then what was throwing me off was in the beginning when they introduced them as characters, they're referring to Lilith as Vale's wife, but they have just shown up. Okay, so keep that in mind. They have just shown up, and they're saying like Vale and his wife. Then, in the last chapter of the book, when they're getting ready for that, whatever that festival thing, Araya's putting her dress on, and she was like, "Oh, it like looks like the dress I wore to Lilith and Vale's wedding." And I was like, "But you guys called her his wife at the beginning of the book when you first met them."
Yeah.
So did they have a second wedding? I'm so confused. When did they get married?
So
because they did not get married in the novella.
Yeah, so they definitely got married in the novella, and the dress that she was referring to was that celebration they had to try to get the nobles on Rain's side, so they used it as a two-for-one deal. But it wasn't a wedding. They literally kept calling it a celebration of their I don't know. But it wasn't a wedding. So the usage of that word, in my opinion, just felt very off. Because to your point, yeah. Exactly.
I was so confused. I didn't feel like they were that important.
No, because I didn't mind their story. I actually thought it was cute, and I think it was enough for being a novella. It was perfect size. Ironically, I think a couple of the other characters that we're probably going to get should have been a novella as well, and just had it kind of lead up to the big fight with Nyaxia, and, that's it.
Just keep us in this area with the people that are involved in this fight.
Yeah.
And make it a fantasy book. It doesn't need to be romantic. We don't need to have love stories.
Nope.
Just make it about this fight.
Yeah, exactly. I would have been fine with that.
Totally
now,
fine. I do feel like we have been very negative.
I was just going to say that.
I feel like we should also state some things that we did enjoy about the book. Yeah. They may be few and far between, but we should sprinkle some positivity. So what are some things that you enjoyed in the book?
I love the dual POV. I think that was something that I wish we had in the first book. Granted, I know we were getting to know Araya more and she was the primary person, but I would have loved if we had more Rain POVs in the first book just to get a little more of his side of things, but that was so good to see it from his side. I also loved how the interludes were now his story. So the first book was Araya's story and this one was his, and I really liked how we got that info without it being him telling a story. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't all right, let's sit down and let me tell you about all of the stuff that went down when I was a slave. It was in the interludes. And I just love that. I actually really like that about books. And that was just something that was well done for both. I was super excited that, continued for this one. So.
No, I agree. My biggest thing that I enjoyed was the dual POV as well. I felt like the first book would have really benefited from that. So it was nice to see both their sides, even though I personally do not think I needed Rain's POV to understand where he was coming from. I fully enjoyed it. I think it added to the book, but it was probably put in there to show you as the reader, here's his actual intentions, even though he's acting like this. But I felt like I picked up on that without needing to be in his mind, unlike our main character. But I did like that a lot. Other than that, though, wasn't much.
I was going to say the only other thing I really, really enjoyed was we got info on her mom and how her mom and Vincent kind of came together, that she was a seer and Vincent needed a seer to help out with all of the god blood and other objects. It was also interesting how she has an aunt and uncle alive in a different area.
I was confused
Vincent
by that too,
didn't go to
then,
kill them? What?
yeah, exactly. And I thought that was weird too, how when they show up there and she introduces herself and then she's like, oh, I'm your aunt. I'm like, how did he know that? Because it wasn't in the letters, that at least the letters that we saw her read as the reader. So I was so confused by that. And yeah, why did he let them stay alive? Like, they would obviously have known what happened.
Yeah,
he probably
I
just
don't
thought they were
know.
too scared of them. And it just seemed like she was born to two very power hungry people.
Very much so. I mean, getting the story
Like the mom
of,
was too. Nothing was good enough for her.
very. Yeah, to your point, because they were super power hungry, and just the fact that she realized, maybe I don't actually want to be with this guy because he's a little bit too power hungry compared to where I am. I also didn't know, because I know that all the vampires are pretty much just brought up on love as a really bad thing. It can be a huge weakness. In Vincent's, I guess, ending scenes, I'll call it, when Araya's in that underground thing, he's kind of talking about how much he really did love his, her mother and everything, but I feel like he would have still chosen to kill her regardless, or
I don't think he would have changed his mind if he could.
No, like I think it was okay, I need to get rid of all loose ends, and that's it.
Yeah, he loved her as much as he would ever be able to.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think he just had that too ingrained in him of like the power is more important. I will say, you mentioned the interludes, but I did like the way that they incorporated the visions at the end when she was going through, because there were so many questions about Vincent, but then he was killed off and no one, he'd killed his whole family to become the king. So there was really no one who could give color on him. So I did think that that was a unique way for the author to give us like the backstory on that and get some questions answered. I still think maybe he should have been alive a little bit longer. I don't know.
Yeah.
I also totally forgot that like him and Jasmine were hooking up.
Oh my god,
Until she
yeah.
mentioned it at the end, and she was like, so were you in love with my father? I'm like, oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was very much a, no, he kept secrets from me too. Like it was more of just a,
and she couldn't even speak to him either. So I was like, okay, you need something to give us the answers.
yeah.
But no. Outside that, really was not much. I feel bad just being negative about it, but
I know.
it's just hard, I think, when you have a really strong first book and then you set yourself up. It honestly just felt like maybe the books weren't plotted out.
Yeah, or I don't even know how long it took to get the second one, but it did feel rushed in the terms of I got to get something out there for readers to keep up with the first one. I don't know. I mean,
and it just felt like some parts weren't fleshed out either, or they just weren't described enough. Like, I'm fine. Sometimes I hate when books are too descriptive. When the moon hatched, that's how I felt about that book. Too much description to the point where like you don't need to come up with new words for things that can be basic.
Yeah.
I mean, they were like took the world building to a fucking extreme. But I feel like I still don't really know what the god blood does, and that was like the main thing that they were going for. I don't even know if she has it. Did Nyaxia take it with her?
I thought that she did because Araya tried to use it as a bargaining chip for Rain's life. Yeah.
Because she hands it to her, or goes to give it to her, and then she's like, but I want a request.
Yeah.
Asks for the Corate bond, however the hell you say it. She says no, but I can't remember if she actually still took it or if Araya kept it, but I was like, this is what we were building the whole book for, was trying to find this freaking god blood, and you were so quick to give it away. What does it do? I'm so confused by it. I'm so confused what happened with the teeth. Like, he put the teeth inside of him and he turned into some crazy person. What? I feel like certain things were just not described at all.
Yeah, because we had to the teeth and everything. So Simon took, not Simon, Septimus took the pendant and the teeth and put them into Simon's chest pretty much. And he became this, super being. So it kind of gave him, I'm assuming, godlike powers at that point. But yeah, I don't actually remember. I thought Nyaxia took the blood because it was one of those, you know, your love should be put to rest finally instead of, you know,
I can't remember.
just spread across the groups and everything. But I was still trying to figure out what Septimus thought this was going to do to help him out in terms of the curse, because his whole goal was to try and make the curse go away.
Unless he is really only trying to solve the curse problem for himself.
Again, it could have
if
been.
I drink the god blood, I become a god and I'm no longer cursed. Like, who cares if the other people are cursed?
Yeah.
He doesn't seem like he's really for the team. He seems very selfish.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
And then we got an introduction of a whole new god.
Yeah.
The god of lost things. And then she's the one who ends up giving them the bond, which I like that. Like, you kind of got that half right, because you thought that they were going to do that at the end of the first book.
I know.
And they ended up doing it here. So you were on the right track, just wrong point. But I'm like, how many times do, like, one of you have to die? And keep being brought back?
Yeah. It was just a copy paste at that point of...
That's what it felt like.
I would have rather if it was some other bargaining chip and then they just agreed to do it. I don't know. I don't really get it.
I mean, I knew she was going to ask, so, like, what else are you going to do?
Yeah. I also have a lot of questions on that. Is what's her life expectancy still? I mean, she's half, but also now that they're
tied. So he's just going to die when she does.
Right.
Is it just dies of natural causes?
Right.
Age, you know?
Okay. Maybe I don't live for, thousands of years. Maybe I just live for 300 centuries and 300 years and that's it. So I don't know. But
now, like, that god's involved, who's, like, with that other group who we didn't really learn much about in this book. I just feel like there's a lot of gaps.
Yeah.
And then there's certain things that I'm like, why are we spending 2 chapters on this? That's not doing really anything to advance the story. Let's spend 2 chapters on maybe some, like, world building things that are going on. What is the main goal of the god blood? No one even asked him that.
Yeah. I don't think so. No, we don't get that at all.
Mm-mm.
No.
They're like, we just have to give it to... Basically, they were going to use it as a bargaining chip. We'll give it to him because that's what he wants, so he'll leave. Yeah. What are they going to do now?
I don't really know how it's going to solve their problems.
And now they have that new air mark.
Yeah.
That's combined one. So now the groups are combined. What's that going to look like for the interpersonal dynamics?
Again, with Misha kind of traveling the world, I feel like we're leaving this area in a weird... Are we just going to get a TLDR version at the end of what's happening? Or maybe she doesn't end up that far. Maybe she comes back. I have no idea. I don't get it.
Also, when they went to the human districts, they kept saying, and even when they go to visit her aunt and uncle and their friends come in, they're like, oh, it's been so much better the past couple months for us. We really appreciate it. We're here to serve you because you've been helping. But I feel like I don't really know what he did. So because no one was listening to him anyways. No one took him seriously as an authority figure. So I'm like, even if he said, you guys can't go into these areas, I don't think anyone would have listened to him. So wouldn't the people have just been sneaking in anyways? Because, like, those were supposed to be protected areas under Vincent as well.
Yeah, that's a good point, because it was the only thing I think he actually could do as king. But again, exactly what you just said is no one was really obeying him as king. So I don't know who he had on his side that was okay with obeying him and helped out. Was it Vale? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know
he
if
was just going in and taking care of business like she was doing before. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. Because they all, like you said, they all kept thanking him, but we never find out who.
Get to see him give, like, a policy or something.
Yeah. It was kind of just say, oh, that's the one thing you did say you wanted to do and you did.
Yeah.
And that was it. I don't know. I will say it was so funny, though, when we were editing the first episode for the first book. You literally made a couple off-handed comments of just, yeah, maybe this will happen. And you literally were like, okay, I think this is how book 2 is going to go. Rain's going to try to persuade the Rashant. Araya's going to leave she's going to lead the Hiyaj against him. But in the end, they work together. And literally I go, you just summed up the entire book without any of the fluff that we had.
Literally the book.
I that too.
Only because it was actually the last resort. Their numbers were so depleted. They could not have done anything without each other.
Yeah.
I wish they had gotten to that point on different terms, but they got there.
Yeah.
But no, literally, yeah. They're going to go against each other. But even though they really didn't go against each other that much, like one time.
Yeah, I know. It was so funny, though, because I was listening to it. I go, oh, my God, Mick just basically gave an explanation. I know we talked about not continuing the series and everything, but was there anything specific that you think might happen with the rest of the series?
I think there will be a big confrontation with Nyaxia.
Can I just say, how the hell are they going to fight a god?
She comes up like a hologram.
I just don't understand how that's going to happen because they literally can walk through her. You know what I mean? It's not as if she's an actual being. They can't really kill her.
Yeah, unless maybe that's the point of the novella. Is there like, this is what happens when the gods are pissed at you and we give you famine and this random disease that turns you to actual dust.
Yeah. My only thought is maybe
that's what they're gonna do.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe those other gods, they'll find some, allies and then just completely remove her. I don't know.
I have no clue. She seems like a bitch.
I don't like her. I mean, cool, you had to go through a lot and you lived. That's great. But you literally make all your people hate each other just for fun. Just so you can be entertained. No.
Yeah, that was if they were not heirs and it wouldn't have meant that their lines were going to be blended together, she probably would have given them the bond.
Yeah.
But she
100%.
just didn't want the conflict to go away.
Yeah. She wanted her people.
She's like, I'm up here eating my popcorn watching you guys be crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't have harmony.
No.
Peace. What am I going to do?
And I come down every 100 years, say, okay, thank you for more of the fighting. Thanks for honoring me. Now what's your wish?
Yeah. I don't like her. And I really don't know what the direction of the series is going to be. Like, being more serious. I just said the other thing because, like, they literally said that at the end of the book.
Yeah.
She will come back one day. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day.
One day.
So, like, that's obviously going to be the big conflict. I think that'll be the end of the book. But I have no clue what we're doing for the next 4 books to get there.
I also assume Septimus is going to be involved because, I mean, he just disappeared, but there's so much unknowns of what is happening with the blood curse. To your point, is he going to just do it for himself or is it for everyone? I don't really know.
Yeah, I guess that's why we have to have different characters for the other 2 duologies to get exposed to other areas of the world and what they're dealing with. And then maybe we'll, like, puzzle pieces and we'll figure out what's going on. But I don't know. Right now, it's not feeling very connected to me, and I do not understand how it's going to be 6 books.
Yeah. Do you think he's going to be one of the love interests of
Septimus?
Like he'll be the main character of one of them?
Okay, not that I'm reading these books anyways, but if I got to that point, like I did read them and then I saw that, I would have DNF'd immediately.
Okay, it's so funny you say that.
Murdered in one of the books.
Okay, because I literally said, there is a level of morally gray that I'm okay with. That you say, you know what, you did some questionable things. This? No. He needs to die. That's the only way I'm okay with this.
Hold on. Did you ever watch Once Upon a Time? I think it was on ABC. It was a take on the Disney fairy tales.
I didn't, no. But I've heard of it.
Yeah. I don't really remember much about it. But if you've seen that show, the character of Rumpelstiltskin, this is who I picture Septimus to be. Like, when I said he's slimy, he's snake-like, this is all I picture with wings.
Stop it right now, McKayla. Hold on. I'm going to see if I can show my camera. I was just going to show you one.
That's what I picture him. And this guy in the TV show, he is the slimy snake. Like, he's conning people left and right. Like, that's how I picture the. So then when you just said, is he like going to be a love interest? That guy?
No. I can't.
Is that close to how you pictured him or not at all?
Yep. That is terrifyingly accurate.
That is the vibe. Just give him bat wings.
Bat wings. Yeah. No, not even like big bat wings. Smaller ones.
Little ones.
Yeah. Little tooth fairy vibes.
I think he's just going to turn into... The curse is going to hit him. He's going to turn into a demon.
I think so too. I think he can't save himself, but someone else is saved. I also... This is going to sound bad. They haven't just decided, okay, maybe we should just stop our bloodline. Maybe we shouldn't. I mean... We're all going to turn into demons anyways. I don't know. Maybe that's just harsh.
They probably just don't want to concede their areas that they have.
True. Yeah.
Or God forbid the humans take over the areas.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. That's all I can picture. Every time I read his name, that's all I picture is that guy.
Oh my God.
I need to like...
The first one is so possessed. I will be very upset if I find out that he is one of the main characters. Just keep him side character energy, please. That's all I want. I know we laughed about how we were 3 years behind on reading this book, but I really wish we were a good 6 years behind so we could have gotten the whole series of just TLDR at this point.
Yeah, you're like, 3 and 4 is about this, 5 and 6 are about these people. Beautiful.
Right. We're done.
Fast forward to how does this end.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you have any thoughts of what you think?
No, I really...
do you think that the big thing between Nyaxia is going to be the end of the series?
I think it has to be. I mean, why would they...
Or do you think it's going to be more of a clash of Nyaxia and the white pantheon gods?
It could be a combo of both. That's why there's so many things left TBD with House of Night at the end of the second book because of the fact that the two groups have to kind of be friendly with each other for the first time in forever. Mm-hmm. So I feel like there could be a little bit of understanding what was happening while we were dealing with the other stories, but I do think a lot of it is going to be Nyaxia focused, and then maybe the White Pantheon jumps in. I don't know. I mean, I don't even like them either. I mean, the fact that, like you said, literally the novella is you pissed us off, so you're all going to die.
Not even just die. You turn to literal dust. You're sweeping up your siblings.
That was so gross.
So gross.
So gross.
And every day you just shed more dust.
Again, wait, then the title of this book, Ashes in the Star-Cursed King, I go, wait, where were the ashes? I would have thought that would have been good for the novella because literally sweeping up the ashes of the family. Yeah,
that would have been a good one. I guess maybe rising from the ashes. I have no clue.
Okay, that's probably fair. That's probably where it was going.
I have no clue. I don't feel like the name was fitting. Who's the star-crossed king we're talking about?
I don't know.
Vincent or is it Rain?
Maybe.
I have no clue. Also, we got no clarification on who that photo was. U.S. in
Fuck, we don't.
No update.
Cool. It was a wasted space then.
So just lots of questions unanswered. And I guess my closing thoughts, because I don't really have anything else.
Neither do I.
So my closing thoughts are, if you are someone who loves book 1, I would recommend you to read book 2 to get the conclusion of at least their love story, because obviously they're going to have to pop back up. They are the king and queen of this area, and they are the ones who pissed off Nyaxia. If you were mid on book 1 and you're on the fence about reading book 2, I would say probably not, because I don't think book 2 is a super satisfying ending to their story, their primary story, and I also don't feel like it does a good job of getting you interested in wanting to read the rest of the book. So that's my thoughts.
Yeah, I agree. This is how I am with books too. If you were kind of iffy about it, but you want to know the ending, I would just get the Cliff Notes. You know what I mean? I find myself in that situation with series where I want to know the rest, but then I get really disappointed that I wasted my time on those, that I would just look for the Cliff Notes, and then you're all set.
Or just do a quick skim of the book. They are on Kindle Unlimited. So,
exactly.
you're not having to go out and buy it, but yeah, I feel like my take is most people probably would prefer book 1 over book 2.
I agree. Yeah.
It just had a better premise to it.
Yep.
And I think it's easier to write books that are that trial situation because it's more structured of a book. This was like there really was no roadmap. Like she knew in book 1 you have to do 4 different trials. We have to have people being killed off throughout the story. There has to be a winner at the end, where like this one didn't really have a roadmap. And it felt that way at some points where it just kind of we were jumping a little bit.
Yeah, there was, I think, a attempt at a journey and, you know, some little bit of extra world building there. But I would have liked a little more structure to it of situations that happened throughout it, and it probably would have helped it a lot more.
You just saying journey just made me think of this because you mentioned it earlier, but Vincent's cousin that they went to was literally crazy and had all those kids turned.
Yeah.
When you said, why did he keep her aunt and uncle alive? Why did he keep the cousin alive? And I mean, they just were like, well, you know, he must have just not thought you were a threat to him.
So he killed. Sorry, go ahead.
Killed her.
Yeah.
He killed her and she managed to stay alive. But like,
Nyaxia wanted her alive.
But then, so then I could understand like if he just didn't know that she ended up surviving. But she was like, I was writing him letters.
Actually,
like, he knows you're alive.
Can he go against Nyaxia at that point to kill her again?
I have no clue. I mean, they didn't get any consequences for killing her.
Fair. Yeah, why didn't he go back?
He knew she was alive. She was like, I wrote him letters.
Yeah. She was weirdly obsessed with him at that point, too. If there must have been a reason.
And then she, like, kept everything the same way, so if he came back. But then they were like, or she kind of comes back, who's like, oh, he must have thought I wasn't a threat. That's why he felt like he could leave me alive. But it's like, that made no sense to me. You went and you killed everyone in your family.
Yeah.
You killed her once. Go kill her again just for good measure.
She was a crackpot, and I feel like it was added in there just to have an element that I don't think we needed. But
yeah, the whole time I knew. I was like, something's going to happen here.
I would have rather if it was he attempted to kill her but couldn't and just left her, you know, pretty much there by herself and just didn't want to deal with that past. I would have liked that instead of oh no, he did try to kill me with the Nyaxia said, nah, you're going to live. I would have rather if it was a regret of his and that's why he never went back. That would have been okay.
Yeah, also they just like left out of there. What happened to all the turned children that are there that all look exactly the same?
I don't know. Did they kill them all too?
It was giving Spy Kids.
Yeah.
No, when they go to the Fruit Loop Castle or whatever the hell it's called. In the first one, and all the kids are just walking around.
Oh, that brings back like the few times I watched it as a kid.
That's what that reminded me of. Like that's all I could picture, just these little kids, little robot-looking kids.
So
it was
weird.
Gross, that scene. And I knew. I was like, you just show up at her front door. She gives you a full buffet of like fresh humans. You don't think she's gonna try and come after you?
Yeah. No thanks.
Sorry, I took us on a tangent there, but it just sparked that in me of like, why did he leave her alive?
Weird. It was weird.
I'll stick with my 3 rating just because I feel like I didn't do it justice to be able to rate it harsh because I didn't read all of it. Basically, I skimmed some of it. But if I did read it hard, it would have been a 2.
Yeah, and as we talk about it more, it's definitely 2 makes more sense.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't the worst thing, but it just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I really just don't see the point of it. She should have just made a 1-book series of these trials.
Yeah. Agreed.
And just have it be a standalone. We need more of those. We need more fantasy standalones.
We really do. All right, so our next episode, we are actually going to be covering Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Rowling, and we're both due for a reread. I mean, it's been a few years at this point. So we're going to be reading the book, but also watching the movie and kind of seeing the differences and what is left out, because obviously there's so much left out from the books.
And we are separating the art from the artist here.
Yeah, agreed.
Definitely separating the two. It is our childhood, though, so you can't take it from us.
Exactly. Yeah. I'll love it till the end of time.
And we have to watch the movies before this new TV show comes and they try and push a new trio on us.
I don't think they should. I don't think that should happen. The trio will always be the first three, and that is it.
So yeah, we'll be covering all the books over the next few months. Still deciding if we're going to go back to back to back, if we're going to put other books in between. So let us know what you'd like to see.
Yeah. And stay tuned on how we do with this, because we might go right through that.
Possibly. It is a strong probability.
Yeah. And we love it. So it's not as if it's a first time read where it's brand new. It's cozy,
it's like
comfy.
A 10th time read and like a 1000th time watch.
Yeah, exactly. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Booktroverts Pod, and join our Fable Book Club as well to read along with us. So see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.